Some early spoilers have been revealed for Modern Warfare 3. We have some multiplayer gameplay changes here, new teasers, story info, and much more. Be sure to subscribe for more COD update videos like this. We're super close to 110,000 subscribers. Really do appreciate it, guys. But first up here, a quick update on the Monster Energy MW3 promotion here. The actual site to make your account and redeem your codes to upload your receipt is actually down and completely not working. We're not so sure what's going on there. I'll leave a link to the website down below in the description. Be sure to check it out for yourselves, see if it's just a couple people, maybe certain people are able to access it. Maybe a couple days after this video is uploaded, it'll be good. Let me know down below if it's still broken. Now, it could be because of a minor issue. It's temporarily down. Sometimes websites just break for whatever reason, but there's also an exploit going on right now where you're pretty much able to scan the same receipt and upload the same receipt multiple times, and it'll count for extra XP, which you're obviously not supposed to do. So maybe a lot of people were doing that in the past couple of days, and they have to take down the website or at least pause all redemptions to make sure that doesn't happen anymore, to remove the extra XP that people were getting. I'm not so sure. I'm not going to be doing that exploit. I'm not trying to mess around with that, but it could be that. So hopefully, again, regardless of what it is, it's fixed very soon because it's a really cool promotion. I want to get those rewards. I want to get the extra XP, and I'll be sure to update you guys on more information regarding that stuff that a lot of YouTubers have not talked about. That will be coming very soon, so be sure to stay up for that. But we have some new stuff here for MW3's and multiplayer. These are some pretty good changes overall. So, of course, this info is coming from El Baberto, the same guy that was leaking a bunch, pretty much all of the MW3 MP info that came out to be true and was confirmed by Sledgehammer a couple days later at that big reveal a couple weeks ago. So we have this here rumor: enemy name tags will be returning in Modern Warfare 3, allowing for increased enemy player visibility. So this is an interesting change here. Now, again, I want to say for some people, they don't care as much about this, but if you guys remember, when MW2 was first playable, it was the MW2 multiplayer beta. Certain points of that beta, I don't know if they changed it mid-beta. Let me know down below if you remember there. But IW made it very clear that they didn't want these enemy name tags here. And at some point, we actually had no little icon above an enemy player. They finally made a compromise by just having the, red diamond above the players. But, obviously at some point, like, again, we know IW's style of Call of Duty, and I do like what they do in some aspects. Modern Warfare 19, MW2, I do like certain styles of that game, and I understand why they do it, but for me, having less enemy visibility is just not really that good. It's kind of annoying. Obviously, if you enter a room on a multiplayer map, you're gonna pretty quickly tell who's the enemy player and who's not, because the enemy player is shooting at you, and obviously you're gonna shoot back, right? But sometimes playing the MW2 beta, it was kind of difficult, especially in darker areas of the map. When you turn a corner quickly, you're not expecting to get shot at by this player, and when you scan your gun on this player, you don't really see anything pop up. In the past Call of Duties, and pretty much every previous Call of Duty, you would clearly see the big, maybe not big, but a nice red name tag above the enemy player to know this is an enemy player, to also know who exactly you're fighting, because sometimes there's, little in-game rivalries and stuff, and you want to kill that certain player. Maybe they were trying to avoid that in MW2 this year or in recent IW games. I'm not so sure. Again, this is not a big deal, but I think it is a good change having enemy name tags returning, having increased enemy player visibility. I think is overall a good change. Not the biggest change overall, but I think it's a positive. Let me know down below if you agree or even disagree. I'm definitely open to all opinions here. I just prefer this more classical style of Call of Duty. Next here, pretty interesting, unsurprisingly, combat pacing from Vanguard is not returning. So this one's actually really weird because combat pacing was probably one of the better features, probably the best feature we saw from Vanguard multiplayer. Vanguard's MP was definitely not too fun. Not my favorite. It could have been your favorite, potentially. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a very, very hot take there. But combat pacing made it a bit more interesting, at least for me, going into an MP map and being able to have a more hectic experience, not just playing 6v6 on a super large Vanguard map. A lot of the Vanguard maps were pretty big, and being able to do 12v12, 16v16, especially on Das House, right? Having insanely hectic games with combat pacing at the max setting. I think the max setting was 16v16, right? I mean, that was really, really fun. Now, obviously, the downside is it may mess with matchmaking, where for some combat pacing settings, you're not going to get enough players playing that specific mode as well. A lot of the times as well, combat pacing in Vanguard's MP just flat out didn't work. I mean, I would put, let's say 12v12, and I would get a 6v6 lobby. Not that players wouldn't fill up, that it would completely just not understand what I put in the settings, and it would throw me into a 6v6 max player lobby. So, you know, it didn't work half the time, but when it did, I thought it was cool. But it's not returning. Again, is that a big deal? No, because we're also playing on the OG MW2 2009 maps, which were made really for 6v6 MP, and most of those maps are a lot smaller. Like, there are some larger maps like Wasteland, for example, but most of those OG maps are a lot smaller than what we've seen in past Call of Duties, so there's really no need for this combat pacing stuff here. 6v6 will play completely fine on those OG MW2 maps, and then we also have a big ground war map as well, where we're playing ground war and invasion, and war's returning, so we'll have our large map experiences there. But for 6v6, it's probably going to play pretty well on those base MP maps. Now, a lot of people were saying maybe bring back classic ground war, which was like 12v12 on the core 6v6 maps. That could be cool. That is a slight compromise. If you guys want combat pacing to return, 12v12, a, you know, classic ground war game mode on the core MP maps, that'd be pretty cool. I would definitely be down with that for sure, but not a guarantee. If we get more information on that, I'll be sure to update you guys on that. But overall, let me know down below your opinion on combat pacing. I feel like most of you guys really don't care. I've saw a lot of comments saying I didn't really like combat pacing. I thought it was pretty cool, but again, let me know. Now, next here, another interesting piece of info. We have detailed weapon stats last seen in Cold War and Vanguard. So last seen in Vanguard will be returning in MW3. This one is pretty cool as well. For MW2 right now, it's not terrible. Obviously, it depends on the type of player. If you like super in-depth stats, then obviously this is for you. For MW2, for IW games, they still kind of tell you, you know, what attachment helps, what attachment hurts, depending on what you're going for. If it's increasing ADS speed, if it's decreasing something else, you know, it still helps you. But if you really want those detailed statistics, then Vanguard and Cold War was a bit better with that. For me here, this is definitely a good change overall, because if you don't care that much, you'll still be able to tell what attachment helps and what attachment hurts. I do like the color coordination there. I don't always want to look at specific numbers when I'm building my weapon. Sometimes I want to hop on real quick, make a class, and play. I don't want to do all this, you know, you're not doing math, but I don't want to analyze my attachment too much sometimes. Sometimes I do if I'm making the perfect class setup. Depends on the vibe I'm in, but overall, having the option to do both, just to visually look at it and see, oh, the green bar goes up, that means I'm getting more ADS speed, for example. Sometimes just having that option is fine, and that's what MW2 kind of does for you, right? But I think having more detailed statistics wouldn't hurt, honestly. So having that style return, you know, like we saw in Cold War and Vanguard, it is a pretty cool change overall as well. So a couple new MP changes here that are making the game, I think, overall pretty solid. Now, for a spoiler here with MW3's campaign, this is super interesting. The South Korea Game Ratings Board has revealed that the Operation 627 mission is actually about freeing Makarov from prison. Of course, that's the first campaign mission we saw gameplay of a couple weeks ago. At first, I was watching back a bunch of videos, just trying to understand what was going on there, because, you know, when that mission first came out, a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers thought that it was actually Task Force 141 infiltrating this prison where potentially Captain Price was held, a callback to an MW2 campaign mission where, you know, Price was in this prison, they freed him, etc. So they thought it would be a reenactment, a callback to that mission. And I get why they thought that, but, you know, it actually seems like it isn't. It's actually Makarov in that prison, which is very, very interesting. Now, some people did think that originally as well, which, you know, obviously it does make sense. It's still a callback to that old MW2 mission, but instead of, you know, us freeing Captain Price, it's a different, you know, Russian PMC team that comes in here and is helping to save Makarov and get Makarov out of that prison, which is pretty cool overall. Of course, again, nothing is confirmed just yet here, and we don't know how the rest of the campaign is going to go. What we know so far is that it's pretty much Makarov, you know, coordinating these false flag attacks around the world here to pin it on different allied forces. For example, we're trying to stop him. Obviously, the Kony soldiers are helping to commit these false flag attacks here. They're obviously talking to Makarov. We see this at the end of the Shadow Siege event there. Of course, with the Shadow Siege event, if you guys don't know what was going on there, we had a chemical weapons hidden under the observatory in Al Mazrah. You were led by Graves, playing a Shadow Company. You know, the goal of their team was to go into the observatory, blow the side up, extract to those chemical weapons and escape before the enemies do, of course. But at the end, of course, we didn't realize that there were some Coney soldiers hidden in Shadow Company who were pretending to be a part of the team there. They shot some of the, Shadow Company soldiers at the end there. And then, of course, they're seen speaking to Makarov at the end as well. So Makarov pretty much probably coordinating those Coney soldiers to go in there, get those chemical weapons before Shadow Company took them. So we're going to see a lot of that in MW3's campaign. It should be pretty cool overall. We'll see what ends up happening very soon. But overall, that's it here for this video. Be sure to subscribe for more COD update videos like this. Again, leave your comments down below on what do you want to see for MW3 here. I'm still collecting a bunch of your guys' comments. I'm going to use them for a future video. So leave some ideas down below. What do you want to see in this game in terms of MP, zombies, campaign, all of that good stuff. Shout out to YouTube channel members as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace out, guys.